What if the most powerful thing you could ever say is nothing at all? Think about that. No revenge text, no late night call, no passive-aggressive post, just silence, cold, clean, unbreakable silence. Not out of weakness, but out of complete control. What if your silence was the closure, the punishment, the message? Because when you go silent, really silent, people hear it in ways words could never reach. She didn't expect that. She expected noise. She expected you to spiral, to beg to prove your worth. She expected the same pattern she's seen before, maybe even created before. But this time something broke. And it wasn't just your heart, it was the illusion that she could leave and still have access to you, that she could walk away and still hold space in your life. She thought you'd stay emotionally available while she explored other options. She gambled that you'd still be waiting when she got bored, but you vanished, not in bitterness, not in rage, in peace, and that's what makes it brutal. See, most men respond emotionally. They chase, they over-explain, they beg to be understood, but a Stoic man, he does the exact opposite. He lets go. He feels the pain, sure, but he doesn't become it. He doesn't need her to know how much he cared. He doesn't need closure to move on. His silence is his closure. It says, I have nothing left to give you. You don't get access to my energy anymore. You chose this, live with it. And that silence, it will haunt her because it creates a void, a space where she used to feel power, a space where your attention, your emotion, your presence used to be. She'll look for it again, and when it's not there, that's when the regret creeps in. Not when you're texting, not when you're calling, but when you've just gone off the map. Evolving in the shadows, this video isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about turning heartbreak into fuel. It's about mastering the art of emotional discipline so well that your silence becomes the loudest thing in the room. This is where Stoicism meets dark psychology, where self-control becomes attraction, where detachment becomes dominance, where silence becomes the weapon she never saw coming. So I'll ask again, what if the strongest thing you could ever do is nothing? If you're done begging for clarity, if you're done waiting for someone who made you an option, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below, I release what I cannot control. Now 1, the power of silence. Let's begin. Number 1, the power of silence. Silence isn't weakness. It's warfare. It's the move she never expects because it doesn't feed her ego. It doesn't confirm her power, and it doesn't offer her comfort. Most men, when they're left heartbroken, go into panic mode. They blow up her phone. They pour their hearts out in long texts. They search for the perfect words that will bring her back. But here's the hard truth. Every word you send her when she walks away is just proof she still has control. Every message is a thread, keeping you tied to someone who already let go. But silence is different. Silence is what happens when a man decides he's done performing, when he realizes that his energy is valuable, and it's not for someone who treats him like an option, when he finally understands that not responding is the most powerful response of all, because silence isn't empty, it's full of message. It tells her, you don't get to walk away and still hear from me. You don't get to reject me and keep my attention. You don't get both. The moment you go silent, the power dynamic shifts. You're no longer reacting. You're no longer reaching. You're no longer available, and that absence, it becomes loud. She notices it in the mornings when she doesn't wake up to your name. She hears it in the notifications that never come. She feels it when she posts something and doesn't see your name in the views or likes. That silence becomes a vacuum, and that vacuum forces her to sit in the very space she thought she wanted. And here's where the Stoic man separates himself from the emotional crowd. He doesn't just go silent for attention. He goes silent because he's done seeking it. He doesn't play games, he plays for peace. His silence is not emotional manipulation, it's self-respect, it's control. He refuses to feed a cycle that cost him his peace. He accepts what he can't change and detaches from what he can't control. That's not weakness, that's strength. So when she realizes you're really gone, no breadcrumbs, no double taps, no just checking in, texts, it hits different because she's not used to silence. She's used to noise, drama, emotion, reaction, but you gave her nothing, and nothing is the one thing she can't spin, can't fight with, and can't forget. If you're done reacting, if you're done playing the fool to someone who walked away, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence is my strength. 2. Control what you can. Release what you can't. Number 2. Control what you can release, what you can't. Pain hits hardest when you try to control the uncontrollable. You can't force someone to love you. You can't argue someone into seeing your worth, and you definitely can't make her stay if she's already halfway out the door. The moment you try, you give your power away. You trade your peace for a fantasy. That's where most men get stuck, trying to fix what was never theirs to fix. But the Stoic path, it teaches you something different, something liberating. You only control 2 things, your actions and your mindset. Everything else, let it go when you stop trying to change her. You start changing you. You stop performing for approval. You stop begging for clarity. And instead, you lock into your own code. A Stoic man doesn't beg. He doesn't chase. He accepts. Not because he doesn't feel, he just refuses to be ruled by it. Her pulling away doesn't shake him because he doesn't build his identity around someone else's presence. He controls his frame. And when she realizes that her leaving didn't unbalance you, that's when the regret creeps in. Here's the truth. Most breakups feel like chaos because you're trying to reverse the outcome. You replay conversations, reread texts, wonder what you could have done differently. That's emotional slavery. Freedom comes the moment you decide she's gone, and I'm still me. You stop asking why and start building what's next. That shift from reaction to intention, that's when everything changes. That's when you rise. You don't get stronger by controlling others. You get stronger by mastering yourself. You become magnetic when you stop chasing and start choosing the moment you accept. What you cannot control is the moment you become untouchable. If you're done trying to rewrite her decision, if you're ready to master your response, instead, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I master what's mine and release the rest. Number 3. Attraction through absence. 3. Attraction through absence. There's a reason disappearing works. It's not a trick. It's human psychology. We crave what's rare, we chase what pulls away, and the moment you remove yourself from her world, you become more valuable than any message you could have sent when you were always available, always texting, always reacting. She knew you were there, predictable, easy, but when you go quiet, when your presence vanishes, that's when her mind starts spinning. Where is he? Why hasn't he reached out? Is he over me now? She's chasing answers and attraction begins. Here's the cold truth. Most women don't regret losing a man who begged. They regret losing the man who made them feel safe, then vanished with dignity. The man who had feelings but wasn't controlled by them. That's Stoicism paired with dark psychology. You don't give her the comfort of knowing you're still lingering in the background. Nope. You cut the supply. You disappear, not to hurt her but to honor yourself. Because if someone can walk away from you without hesitation, they don't deserve front row access to your healing. You become more attractive when you create distance. Not fake distance, real, intentional absence, the kind that forces her to face the consequences of her decision. the kind that makes her question what she thought was guaranteed. And if she doesn't regret it, good, you've already leveled up. If she does even better, you're no longer waiting. Absence creates demand, and that demand, it's built on silence, on discipline, on the strength to pull back and let your presence do the talking. She'll notice, she'll wonder. But you've moved on. You've become scarce, and in a world full of desperate attention, scarcity is power. If you're done proving your worth and ready to let your absence speak for you, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My absence creates 4. Let her sit with her choices. Value number 4. Let her sit with her choices. Stop rescuing people from the consequences of their own decisions. She made a choice when she pulled away, when she stopped showing up, when she let you go, and whether she did it quietly or with drama, it was still a choice. Most men, when they feel that sting, want to fix it. They want to reach out, make sense of it, find closure, but all that does is soften the blow she was supposed to feel. If you step in to relieve her guilt, you rob her of the regret. You make it easy, you give her an emotional safety net, and she doesn't deserve one. Let her sit with it, let her wonder why you never came back. Let her scroll through your feed and see silence. Let her realize she's no longer the center of your world, that your attention isn't a guarantee. It was a gift, that your love wasn't weakness. It was rare, and now it's gone. This is where Stoicism gets brutal. Not because you're cold, but because you've accepted reality. You don't hate her. You don't wish her harm. But you're done saving people from themselves. You don't soften the lesson just because it's someone you cared about. You let them feel it fully, because only then do they understand what they lost. You want to make a woman regret. Losing, you don't send a long message. Don't try to explain the depth of what you gave. Just leave quietly, fully, and rebuild without them. That's when the silence starts screaming. That's when she realizes, I didn't lose just any man. I lost him. And by the time she figures it out, you'll be long gone. Not out of spite, out of discipline, out of growth, out of respect for the man you're becoming. If you're done shielding her from the fallout she created, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. She made her choice. I made my 5. Rebuild in silence, rise in shadows. Piece number 5. Rebuild in silence, rise in shadows. The loudest moves are made in silence. The greatest comebacks don't start with announcements. They start with isolation, focus, and discipline after heartbreak. Most guys want to be seen. They want to show her they're doing better, post their glow up, prove they've moved on, but that's still reacting, that's still performing for her attention. A Stoic man doesn't post his progress. He becomes the progress. He doesn't need applause or validation. His grind is personal. His evolution is private. When you rebuild in silence, you rise without noise. You stop explaining and start executing. You hit the gym, not to flex on her, but to reclaim your body, your power, your control. You level up mentally, financially, spiritually, not for revenge, but because staying broken is no longer an option. And here's what makes it powerful. She won't see it coming while she's expecting a version of you stuck in pain. You're outgrowing the entire situation. There's something deadly attractive about a man who vanishes into discipline. No tweets, no updates, no look at me now, just silence. And then one day she stumbles across the new, you, not the one crying over her, the one who doesn't even blink when her name comes up. The man who used to beg now walks with purpose, and that hits her harder than anything. You could have said this is where the dark psychology kicks in. People chase what they no longer understand, and mystery triggers obsession. She starts wondering how you healed, who you became, what she missed out on. But by then, you won't be performing. You'll be too busy living. You'll be too focused on purpose to worry about proving anything to her. If you're done trying to be seen and ready to move in silence, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My growth speaks louder than 6. Emotion is a tool, not a master. Words, number 6. Emotion is a tool, not a master. Pain is real, no doubt, but letting it control you, that's a choice. When she left it, hit you in the chest. It wasn't just heartbreak, it was betrayal, confusion, ego, death, that feeling of being discarded like you were nothing. And yeah, it's tempting to lash out, to drown in the sadness, to let the pain take the wheel. But here's the truth. A stoic man knows your emotions are signals, not commands. You feel them, but they don't get to run the show. This is where most men lose themselves. They get drunk on the emotion, they make decisions from the wound instead of the wisdom. But a man with discipline, he feels it fully, then channels it. He doesn't run from the pain. He uses it. Every ounce of heartbreak becomes fuel for the gym, for the hustle, for the focus. He turns rejection into obsession with his goals, his peace, his purpose. He doesn't break. He sharpens. That's what Stoicism teaches. Emotional control doesn't mean emotional numbness. It means emotional mastery. You don't suppress what you feel. You just refuse to be enslaved by it. So yeah, you still think about her sometimes. That's human, but you don't act on it. You observe it, you breathe through it, and then you move forward every time you resist the urge to reach out. Every time you stay focused when the memories hit, you're winning quietly, relentlessly. You don't let emotions make decisions for you. You let discipline speak louder, because once you master that inner world, no one outside of you can shake it if you're done being ruled by emotion and ready to turn pain into power. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I feel deeply, but I move 7. No, response is a response. Wisely, number 7. No response is a response. You don't owe her a reply, not a text, not a just one last conversation, not even a cold look when someone disrespects your presence. Your silence becomes the consequence. Most people can handle arguments. They can handle closure talks. They can even handle you yelling, begging. Breaking what they can't handle is being ignored, being met with nothing. That's where the power is. She expects a response. She's conditioned to it. She's used to the emotional back and forth, the drama, the damage control, the ego massage. But when you say absolutely nothing, you interrupt the pattern. You create a void she can't fill. You deny her what most men hand over freely, attention. And once you cut that off, she's left facing herself. No more energy to feed on, no more emotional payoff. Just silence. It's not about being petty, it's about boundaries. You don't respond because there's nothing left to say. The respect is gone. The connection is dead. And you finally learned that peace is louder than closure. You don't chase answers. You don't seek explanations. You move. You evolve. You become unavailable, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Your attention becomes expensive. Your time becomes sacred. Let them wonder. Let them sit with the unanswered messages, the unsent replies. Let them feel what it's like to be met with stillness. Because silence is final. It doesn't ask for clarity. It doesn't argue. It just ends things in a way words never could. If you're done explaining yourself to people who don't value you, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence says everything. Number 8. Reframe the 8. Reframe the narrative. You didn't get rejected. You got redirected. It's easy to think she left because you weren't good enough, that something was wrong with you. That if you had just done more, texted more, loved, harder, been better, she would have stayed. But here's the truth. Her leaving wasn't the end of your worth. It was the beginning of your clarity. You didn't lose her. You lost the illusion that she was meant for you. And that's a win. Stoicism is about perspective. You don't control what happens. You control how you see it. And when you reframe the pain, everything changes. Instead of saying, "Why did this happen to me?" you start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That's the shift. That's where power is born. Because pain isn't your enemy. Confusion isn't your enemy. Clinging to a false narrative, that's your enemy. And once you rewrite the story, you take your power back. She didn't break you. She revealed you. She showed you the cracks. You've been ignoring the weak spots, the lack of boundaries, the need for external validation. She didn't destroy you. She gave you the opportunity to become undestroyable. Now you get to build again, but this time with stronger walls, sharper vision, and a heart that doesn't hand itself over so easily. You're not a victim of her decision. You're the author of what comes next. You decide how the story is told. And in your story, the heartbreak was just the prologue. If you're done living in the old story and ready to rewrite your own ending, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. This pain rewrote my 9th. Become the man you'd respect. Power number 9, become the man you'd respect. Stop chasing her and start becoming him, the version of you that doesn't flinch when someone walks away, the one who doesn't need validation to feel valuable, the one who walks into a room and doesn't have to say a word, because his energy speaks for him. That's the man you build now, not for revenge, not to prove her wrong, but because you deserve to be that solid. Ask yourself if you met the man you're becoming. Would you respect him? Would you trust him? Would you want to follow him into battle? Or would you see someone still licking his wounds? This is where the shift happens. You stop measuring your worth by her reaction and start measuring it by your own standards. Discipline, integrity, power, stillness. You build in the dark and rise with weight in your presence. She left cool. Now you build a life so complete that her absence doesn't echo anymore. You don't need to replace her. You replace the version of you that relied on her. Because the man who knows his worth doesn't chase, doesn't argue, doesn't beg. He chooses, he commands respect without raising his voice. He doesn't need to be loud. His aura handles it. This version of you, he's sharp, he's focused, he walks differently. And the irony is, by the time she realizes what she lost, the man she knew will be gone, replaced by someone she no longer has access to, someone she wouldn't even recognize. If you're done acting like the man she wanted and ready to become the man you admire, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I become the man I respect. 10. She'll hear the echo of your absence. Number 10, she'll hear the echo of your absence. You didn't block her. You didn't curse her out. You didn't create drama. You just disappeared. And that silence, it's louder than anything you could have said, because now every time she opens her phone, she notices what's not there. Your name, your presence, your energy. Every laugh she posts, every story she shares, there's a part of her wondering why you're not watching, why you're not reacting, why you're not chasing. And that silence, it becomes an echo that follows her into every room. She walks in, see when a man truly lets go. It leaves a scar, not because he hurt her, but because he didn't need to. There was no meltdown, no final plea, no emotional explosion, just stillness, just absence, just a man who chose peace over noise, a man who didn't flinch when she walked. That kind of silence. It lingers. It shows her the gap. She thought she could feel later is now permanent. You don't owe her the performance. You don't owe her closure. Your absence is the closure, and it's haunting, because now when she hears your name, when she passes that place, when she hears that song, she's the one replaying it, not you. You've already moved forward quietly, powerfully, while she scrolls for proof that you still care. You're too focused, building a life that makes her memory irrelevant. That's what happens when a Stoic man lets go. Not with anger, but with discipline. And the one thing more unforgettable than passion is peace. She'll hear the echo of your silence long after her curiosity fades, but by then you'll be long gone if you're done being an option, if you're ready to become unforgettable by vanishing completely. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My absence will be remembered. That's it. Kings, keep your silence sharp. Stay in control and never forget. Peace is the loudest power you'll ever have. Here's the final truth. Walking away isn't about ego, it's about evolution. You're not doing it to punish her. You're doing it to protect you. You've spent enough time explaining yourself, proving yourself, lowering yourself, just to be seen that version of you. The one who chased, who overthought, who stayed available while being ignored. He's gone, and good riddance, because now you walk with weight. Now your silence has a purpose, and anyone who doesn't value your presence, they never deserve to hear your voice again. You owe it to yourself to move forward with clarity, with strength, with discipline. Not bitter, just better. This isn't about winning her back. It's about never losing yourself again. She thought you'd break. She thought you'd wait. She didn't expect you to go silent forever. But now that you have, you've become unforgettable. So here's your final move. Let go completely. Walk away like you mean it, and build a life so grounded, so peaceful, so powerful that even your silence leaves a legacy. If you're done chasing closure, if you're ready to leave the past in silence, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I leave with peace, not pieces. This is Stoic blessing. Stay solid, stay silent, stay dangerous.